Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I'm Anna K. Morris, and we are here today with We Play Everywhere. And today we are talking to Anna Chocola from Boho Gypsy. Hello, how's it going?
Hi. I apologize for my background. I'm in an Air BNB here in Houston, so usually I'm a little bit more colorful back there if I'm in my studio.
I love it. Well, so it's really perfect because today we're talking about how we play with fashion. And
Uh-huh.
you are our fashion expert, and I love it because right before the show started, you were saying like, should I have like done something fashiony? And so why don't you tell people like where you're at, what's going on in your life, and who you are?
Okay. Well, I'm actually in Houston at the moment, and in
Yay.
2 hours, I'm going to be taking a flight back to India.
Uh-huh.
So I'm here in Houston because about 6 months ago, I became a vendor for Whole Foods, which
Yay.
is very exciting. It's my first kind of big contract, if you will.
Yeah.
And I came here to do what they call a Meet the Maker event,
Hmm.
which is essentially very casual, but it's an opportunity for customers to come and meet the people behind the products. And luckily for me, the products have been doing really well. My collection has been doing well. It's a little bit different because my story, I think, is a big part of the selling point of the stuff. So, yeah, I'm sorry that I'm not dressed appropriately, but I have been packing, and I have all my accessories in my suitcase.
Well, I
So,
think it's so perfect because before we clicked record today, we were talking about whether or not like you should throw on a hat and like do something fashiony. But the most important thing is, do you feel playful with what you're wearing today?
sure. Look at
Yeah.
this.
Oh, I love it. There you go. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's a little
Yeah.
business in the front, party at the back.
Party in the back. I love it. Which is also good that you don't have a mullet. So we're super excited that that's not what you're working with. Yeah.
It's 1985.
No, but I think that's really cool because, it's really about like how do we find that inner sense of playfulness? Like how do you find your 5-year-old in fashion? And we look at 13 different areas of life, and fashion is usually the one that people see first, right? And so I think it's really perfect that you're real about what's going on with your day. And I mean, my God, how long is the flight? Like 14 hours, something like that?
Well, it's 15 hours from Houston to Dubai, and then another five to my
Yeah.
hometown.
Yeah. So, like, if you showed up all done up, I'd be like, that's weird. Like, how is that going to go?
Design perfect.
Yes.
Nah.
No. I know. I was just telling you like 5 minutes ago, I didn't have like any eyeliner on and hair was in a messy bun, and I still don't have a bra on. So, it is what it is.
Sometimes you have to keep it real. Today's definitely, I mean, every day is a real day, but sometimes, you can't get ready and, be presentable to the world as long as you feel presentable inside. I mean, I went to the grocery store like this,
Yeah. Yeah.
did my errands, but I'm confident in what I'm wearing, and in my being. So the rest, what you have on is all, I don't know. I think it's people's perception is different from your own. As long as you're confident in your
Right.
perception, I think you're fine.
Absolutely.
You know. So
Yeah. That is really what it like for me, what being playful is all about. Like some days I want to spend the time and I feel like, getting, some makeup on and like fixing my hair. And then, yesterday I saw you came over for dinner and I was like, I know we're having people over for dinner and I cannot put on makeup. Like I am so done with being done up that
sure,
I just need to keep it real and like wear a swimsuit and no makeup. And
sure,
I think it really is about like in how you're being about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, with when you're real about like what you project, even from your outward experience, I think people can see that, sense
Yeah.
that, you know. And I can't tell you like the way I don't know how I project myself, but like I'm in airports a lot,
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many people just come sit next to me, and then the next thing I know is I know everything about their life,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's something I'm projecting, but it's an easy, I think I feel like, I'm internally, I'm like an easy person to get along with and stuff. And I think that projects outwardly as well in the way I dress, in the way I carry myself. So I commend the people who get on a plane fully decked up. I mean, let me tell you, I'm just not one of them. I'll wake up 16 hours later, like, oh gosh, I've got my hand imprint on my face, but it's all good. So
yeah, well, I think it's really like what works for you, and that was why I really wanted to start this off. This is our first interview about fashion, and when I was thinking about it, like there are lots of different options and lots of people in fashion, and you were the first person I thought of because you really embody that like sense of playfulness and ease, right? Like from the moment I met you, I just instantly felt a connection to you, and that I couldn't get it wrong, if that makes sense. Like I never felt any judgment or like, no, this isn't the way you're supposed to wear that, Anna. And I even told you when I was picking out some of your beautiful necklaces, I'm like, you pick out what you think is my necklace.
right.
And
I love doing that, by the way.
yeah.
Like, those things where I can look at someone and be like, I really think they'd like this, and that's an exciting part of my work because I feel like I can read my customer a little bit, because I enjoy my process, and I feel the people who are attracted to my work are kind of similar in that thought process. So
well, why don't we have everybody know, because a lot of people probably don't know what the line is and what is it that you're making. It's called Boho Gypsy, and then I'll let you fill in the rest. Like, and I don't actually know the story of like how it got started, or I don't think I know that.
Yeah. So my line is called Boho Gypsy, and I launched it about 3 years ago.
Okay.
Well, it's close to 4 now. And it really came about because I was living in America, and I really was longing to go back to India and find a purpose to go back to India more, I wanted to work with, there's so many amazing crafts in India, and, I was dying to get creative again. And so I was doing.
What had you been doing? What had you been doing before that?
My previous job before I launched my label was I was working for an art gallery.
Oh, okay.
And it was a nonprofit art space, and I was the director of development. And prior to that, I was also doing development work for a university for many years, raising money for capital campaigns and such. So I'm, it's meeting people. It's the whole, that whole culture of meeting people. I think you're similar to that.
Absolutely.
So it wasn't a job where I'm sitting at a desk from 9 to 5. I was essentially out all the time. Each day was different. So yeah, that's what I was doing. And then, like I said, 4 years ago, I launched my label. I took all my savings. I traveled around Asia for a few months. My mom joined me for a bit of it. And I mean, really that 3 months defined my future. I knew that my life as I knew it then was going to change. It had to change. And it wasn't because I didn't like my previous life. I just knew that this life was what was really feeding me, feeding my soul. And I was comfortable, and I didn't have this little birdie constantly pecking at me, like questioning what I was doing, Right. So yeah, that's how I got started. And now I've been traveling. I've developed relationships with people around the country, and I work one-on-one with artisans around the country. So it's really, the process can sometimes be daunting because
that's what I was just thinking.
Sourcing and then creating samples and such. But I chose this process. I enjoy the process, but just like anything else, there are frustrations, but I'm willing to deal with it because it's mine. I own it. And that's a big difference. And I say this, and I say this to myself all the time as well. Life is about attitude. You have the right attitude towards things, and it just flows. You believe and trust your process wholeheartedly, and it flows. So that's what I've been going with, and it's been working out so far. Yeah.
Well, I would say so. I mean, you were just featured in Whole Foods, and you make beautiful things, and that's all well and good, right? but a lot of people can make beautiful things. And I think what I'm really hearing is that you love what you do. And
I do love what I do.
yeah, and that's distinct because and that's a big reason that we do this every Monday, you know, that we have a different person that we interview, is because it's so important for people to know what's out there. And also, like, I like to make my buying choices with people that have the same attitude about life. So, like, I could look at other beautiful necklaces out there, but it makes a difference to know that I'm in alignment with you and how much you love what you do, and that, you know, yes, there are frustrations, but you deal with them because it's the path that you've chosen.
Sure.
And that's what I really love
Buying
about this whole process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just buying everything and being conscious of everything that you have that surrounds you. Mm-hmm. Like, not just buying this vase because it fits a space right there.
Yeah.
You know? I go to so many homes, beautiful homes, but you know, you don't get a sense of the person,
right?
Because they haven't, you know, made it. They've made it. Someone else has made it for them, and now they're living in it. Yes. You know, and trying to develop. And so I have a new place in Cochin in my hometown. And honestly, when I left here, when I took all my stuff and put in that crate, I only took the pieces that, like, you know, that meant something to me. Yeah. And most of the stuff did, you know, so essentially I did take a lot back because everything I did buy was, you know, my old vinyl records. I had my vintage, you know, bronze statues, or little things that might not be important or like mean something to somebody else, but it did to me. I had these ceramic clowns that I got in Mexico that were super beautiful and well detailed. You know, someone will see it and just see a clown.
Right.
I see where I got it from, and my, you know, my vacation back then, you know, things like that. So buying with intention, and that comes down to jewelry, to everything, you know. So if I can go to Target and buy a piece, but there's something about when you wear it, when you wear something that has a story behind it. I don't know. For me, maybe it's psychological. It makes a difference.
I mean, that's where I really resonated with you from the moment we met, is, and that's why our house took so long to curate, and it's still a work in progress, is because I knew I couldn't go just buy things. Like, right. It would have been nice because it was, you know, a shit show for a long time, but, you know, every piece, like, took something, you know. It was a treasure, and I felt like I was constantly on a treasure hunt. And even with my clothes, you know, having lived in New York for so many years and having such little space, you get really specific, at least I did, about what do I want to have here. And if it's not like something that I can use in multiple ways or that really lights me up, like, it's gone.
Right.
So we were talking about that a little bit last night when we saw each other, and you know, you've been traveling for how many months now? Because it's pretty extraordinary when you think about, like, the fashion involved with traveling the way you have.
Yeah. And you can see some of that on, like, my Instagram, because that's really, for me, I'm a visual person, so I prefer pictures over Facebook and all this stuff where you can actually talk. You know, pictures say so much more.
Right.
Yeah, I've been on the road with my friend Denise that you met, who is an incredible painter, and we kind of aligned together. So we'd been talking about doing this road trip for a long time, and we literally made this kind of route in half an hour, and we did it. So we left on the 1st of July, and we got back on the 3rd of August. But even before that, I got back end of April, back to America.
Yeah, you've been traveling for quite a bit. I mean, before that road trip.
Yeah, I've been traveling quite a bit, but for the month, just on the road driving, going from, like, I mean, we're going from Oklahoma City to Angel Fire to...
Hang on. This is what I was telling you about, how Barney was going to bark during the interview. Barney! It's okay!
You've had me as your first fashion interview, and... Well,
there you go, right?
I'm going to own this.
I love it. Okay, so you were saying, so you've been traveling essentially for, let's do the quick math, like May, June, 3 months. No, May, June, July. Yeah, 3 months?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your trick? How do you stay playful in a carry-on for 3 months?
Um, like kimono tops, basic tanks, good accessories, everything that can fit into a good pair of clogs.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, sneakers, everything that can fit into a carry-on. I have a really good carry-on that fits in. I mean, we both traveled for 1 month with a carry-on. And the great thing is, and every time it was really funny. I look at Denise, I'm like, "Where'd you get that?" And she look at me like, "Where'd you get that?" I'm like, "It's been in my suitcase, you know." But we just wear it in a different way or whatever it is. So we are both similar in terms of like having pieces that you can kind of wear in a different manner, you know. And I'm obsessed with just little like kind of kimono tops that you can throw on, little patterned tops that I can either belt or like make it a dress or whatever it is. So it's, and adding color. Color is everything. Just a little bit. Throw on a scarf with your gray t-shirt and you're good to go. You know.
Do you stick with a certain color theme? Because I know I see a lot of people and they're like always wear the same colors. Are you of that mindset or not so much?
I'm not. And the thing is, I live in so many different worlds where the fashion is so different.
Yeah.
I find myself when I come to America wearing more grays and blacks and such, but with pops of color, like in my bags where I have the travel bags and such. But if you see me in India, it's like they just threw color all over me, you know. You won't ever see me in gray, you know. I've got the hot pinks and the reds and the blues, so it's really, where I am really defines how I dress. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's when I think about that too, I remember having somebody come in and like assess my wardrobe when I turned 30 in New York. And I remember her holding out she laid out all these clothes on the bed and said like, "What are you doing? Like, you don't live in Texas anymore. Like, you can't wear all these like patterns and colors." And, you know, I started dressing differently in like blacks and grays. And then 3 years later, I moved to Texas. And I remember thinking like, what the hell? I wish I had all those clothes, because that's really more of who I am. Like, I don't really resonate with a lot of, you know, neutrals and things like that. I mean, I, you know, have on a leopard dress today. So, yeah, but I get what you're saying, because it really does make a difference, like where you are. When I go back to New York, I pack almost only black and then pops of color, because it's just easy.
Right. And you kind of like, not that you're looking to blend in or whatnot, but it just feels more comfortable.
Yeah.
When you're dressing, it's the whole when in Rome thing, you know?
Yeah.
Just, you alter it a little bit depending where I am. And I spent some time in Spain as well. And that's been an interesting, like, because there's so many different cultures there as well. It's been interesting because I've only been there in the winter, to where I'm miserable anywhere in the winter. So I haven't had an opportunity to dress appropriately because I'm just in a big old, whatever keeps me warm, you know. But when in Rome.
Well, so how did you used to dress when you were a kid? So I don't know about you, and we obviously grew up in very different parts of the country, but we had school clothes and play clothes, and they were not the same. And like if my mom caught us climbing trees in our school clothes, like, man, were we in trouble. So did you have that as well? And is it something that like you see represented in your life now?
Well, I had school uniform my entire schooling.
Well, there you go.
So it's completely different.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was known, now looking back, and my brother was talking about it, back then in the 80s, I was supposedly pretty fashionable for a young teen and whatnot. I had really terrible hair. I did not know how to, you know, I have curly hair, and I did not know how to work it. And my mom would cut it short, and then I would comb it out. So I essentially looked like one of the, you know, Jackson 5.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to need a picture on Instagram. I have a special request. Come on. My birthday's in September. That's my birthday present.
I'll send you one way text or something, because if you're ever feeling down, I promise you just need to look at that picture.
Okay, sounds good.
Pep up your day. But But yeah, I loved playing around with fashion when I was younger, and I wanted to be a fashion designer. I mean, that's
There
something.
you go.
It's funny because everybody that knows me, like that's the path that they saw me taking, you know. So now I don't think it's going to be a big shock for them when they come to find out that this is, you know, because now I've connected with a few friends from, I went to boarding school. So essentially you're almost closer to these people because you've lived with them so many years, you know. But that's the path, and you know, obviously it took me a while to get there, but yeah, it's the happy place. I'm here and I'm doing it. I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but I'm doing it.
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
you know, I think that's such a good point, and I know we're in the topic of fashion, but it really is a life conversation, is that you don't know what you're doing and you're doing it anyway.
Because a lot of people can talk about, for me, I don't look at, a lot of people look at me and they're like, wow, you're, you know, it's a big risk, it's this, that, and I commend you for being able to do it. And in my head, I'm like, this is my only option that I can see myself doing and being happiest at. Yeah. Do I know what the heck's going on half the time? No, but I'm still going to push through, you know? And I started this as a little small puppy, and I've got myself to, you know, now to Whole Foods. It's possible. If I can do it, you can do it, you know? It's not rocket science, I think, if you have the passion for it.
Yeah.
You know?
You know, it's just eating lunch, and I used to, you know, pop on, you know, the television or something like that for 15, 20 minutes. And I've stopped doing that because I realize it's not in alignment with the information that I want to feed my brain with. And so I've started watching TED Talks instead. And right before this, I was watching Tony Robbins. One of the most popular TED Talks out there is a Tony Robbins TED Talk. And that's exactly what he was saying, is that without the right attitude, like, fulfillment is not possible.
No.
You know?
Then you're constantly creating expectation for something that you don't even really know what you're creating the expectation for.
Right.
You know, when you are open to whatever the outcome is, like right now, I have a project that I'm working with a rather well-known celebrity. Right. And initially when I got this opportunity, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to do whatever it takes to be able to get this account, you know, even if it means I'm going to give this to them at cost. I'm going to, you know, do it. And then finally I kind of just sat down and I'm like, wait a minute. Like I'm a business as well. I have to survive as well. You know, it's not all about, you know, getting that account, getting this, because she herself is a business. She's reached out to me because I'm a business. She wants something from me, you know? So if I compromise, she's not compromising anything. We're not, you know, we need to be able to, so I realized that, okay, this is what I can offer and this is what I offer you. And if you can't take that, then this is the best I could do for you. You know? So it's all like you win some, you lose some. And that's a big part of what I've learned as well. Like, you can have an opportunity to do something big, but it might not necessarily be for you because the timing isn't right or whatnot, but other things will come along. So you just kind of dust it off and move on to the next thing. And that's all will be well.
All will be well.
All will be well. It's all good.
Well, I think, sadly, we could go on for a really long time, but we are going to have to end this because you literally have to go. Like, you have to get on a flight.
Yes. And, you know, I would love it. I know that this is so really not me at all, but I would love to see you on here when I get back to India. Maybe we can do another call or something where you can see my actual apartment and where you can get a little bit more of my vibe.
Yeah, let's do it with your Indian background. So, you know, you have lots of colors, and yeah, that'll be great. Although the Air BNB has been lovely as a backdrop. Thank you so much, whoever you are that housed the show today. And I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And thank you so much for having us over and being so open to connecting people and really keep up doing what you're doing.
Absolutely. Okay, bye everybody. Go play everywhere. Go play.